fleshing out the water tank situation and redoing the kitchen countertop for the sink on this episode of
The Clutch Trucker Channel.
Clutch Trucker, filmed before a live and fuzzy studio audience. That is Rusty, the world-famous meatball dog. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning into another edition of the Clutch Trucker Channel. Alright, here it is, Saturday, the 15th, January. 2 days before we leave. We leave Monday morning for our trip to Disney World. So, gonna have fun for that. So, I'm just trying to get some more done beforehand. Got the disco lights going up again, so welcome to the Clutch Trucker Disco. Hope you're enjoying that. Yes, we had Rusty at the beginning, and he'll be at the end again. So, wanted to get some more Rusty in before we head on out. I had to figure out the whole water tank situation, and the main issue was this thing that I gotta put up, okay? This is the fill for the fresh water tank. And you see it has a little extra little vent thing there, covered by some screen. That connects on the back, right there. You have to have a vent tube as well as your main fill tube going to your fresh water tank. And of course, you know, now that I know that, it makes sense, because as you're filling up the tank, you're displacing the air, so that air has to go somewhere, or else you won't be able to fill the tank. So, you know, you have to have the vent tube coming back out. Plus, as you're going up and down different elevations, that needs to breathe, like many other things. And so, you have to have that. Problem is, where was I going to put this in? I didn't want to have to put a hole in the wall of the truck. I avoided the whole situation of having to put the hole in for the cassette toilet by being able to use the side door that was already there. Problem is, if I wanted, you know, and plus I could put it up in the wall a little bit higher there, but the reason I don't want to cut into that wall is I know there's a lot of wires back there and stuff. I don't want to accidentally cut through some of the main wiring in the truck. This is the whole point of this whole rebuild, is I've been trying to use a lot of the wiring, a lot of the structure and everything that's already in the truck. I don't want to mess that up. That was why I couldn't put the cassette toilet opening where I wanted to in the first place. So, what am I going to do with that? So, I could have put it in the door, because I know the door's hollow, but the problem is that would have put it too low, so I couldn't have pulled the cassette toilet portion out to empty it easily. So I couldn't end up really putting both tanks on the underbox on my driver's side like I'd originally planned. So I had to come up with a whole another plan. So I was trying to have different places inside the truck. I tried maybe even inside the closet back there. Okay, I'd have to give up my area where I was going to put my storage box for my socks and underwear and shorts, but still it wouldn't even quite fit in there. Plus, I wouldn't be able to see the tank as I'm filling it. I could have put this up at the countertop level. I would have had to drag the hose inside to do that, to fill it and have it in the closet. It wouldn't fit underneath the sink. The tank wouldn't fit under there, so that option was out. So what it pretty much came down to is I had to put it in the passenger side. This is the driver's side box, or luggage box, whatever you want to call it, toolbox. That's, of course, where my cassette toilet is. There's the cassette part of it that you just pull out like that. This duct will be up out of the way. So I couldn't really put the water tank filler in the door here, because it would have gotten in the way of that. I see I have temporarily put that tank there. I'm going to pull that forward, and it's going to go right along here this way. That's going to be my gray tank. So that'll drain from the sink down that tube into there, and then I'll have a connection at the bottom for a hose. So when I need to dump the gray tank, I can just do that through this side door, okay? But I needed to leave all this area open so I can pull this cassette toilet part out and bring it out the door here. So I'll show you where I'm going to put the fresh water tank on the other side. Okay, here's looking at the passenger side of the truck. Here's my door behind my stacks and stuff, just like on the other side. And see, I had to cut through on my understair area, my understair storage right there. And I've even put carpet on the back wall, which you'll never see, but I like to trick things out a bit. So there's this vent you can see that's at the riser below my first step. And the reason I had to cut this wall out is so this would flow through for my rear heat and air conditioner system for the truck when the main engine is running. This is where it has its intake. So it needs to breathe. That's why I had to have the vent way back there coming through into this compartment. So decided, well, how am I going to put this tank in here? I could put it up this way, but it'd have to sit right up against the intake for the heat and air system. Plus, I'd have to move that if I ever need to access that. So I wasn't wild about that. You can see that's a hose from my APU. So when my APU is running and the main engine's off, that also is running to a vent upstairs in the stairway. I've got a line going to a power strip that runs the fridge and freezer, which are right above, right there. And in a 12-volt line that was originally for a TV that I'm running all the way across there that is going to feed either my pump or my toilet flush system. So, again, I can put the fill cap thing into the door right here because I know that's hollow. I'm afraid to cut through anything up here or down there. Not to mention, my ceiling is low inside anyway. So, decided the best thing to do, I'm going to rotate this way. Well, actually, this way. So my fill, which will be coming off of that bigger thing right there, will be higher up. And we're just going to push this across, and it's going to sit right there. So it'll sit through my flow-through area, but still there's plenty of room for air to come through. I was originally hoping to be able to shove groceries and stuff in that way. Well, I'll have to just not do that. But now I can just run the intake line from here, and it will go up enough to the door, and we'll just put that in here. And then I can have a breathing line from right there, also going to that fill cap right there. So that's how we're going to solve that. And yet I still then have this whole storage area to use, plus in front of the tank, the storage area below my first step. So I'll still have plenty of storage. Okay, so now we're back inside the truck, and see, that's that vent that I showed you from the back side. And that door does open, by the way. See? So I'll still have access for storage on the front side. And it'll help the whole rear system breathe. That rear truck air system, by the way, is connected to that vent in the back, so when my main truck is running, then at least I get heat and AC out of that. And there's another vent upstairs. Now I'm going to have to run the water line, though, all the way across the front here. Luckily, because I built in access right below that cushion for my APU, I can access it and run a water line just straight across, and it'll end up right over there in my sink area. So the water line will come up from down there. I'm going to go ahead and mount the pump for the water system right here on the wall so that it'll feed the sink above, and then right down there the input for the water for the cassette toilet. And of course then I'll have a cabinet door right here, so I'll have access to all that. You saw my last video, I've got to redo this countertop because it broke. So I've got a different board I can now use to make all that happen and put the faucet in and so forth. So we're going to work on a little combination of all this tonight, and we'll see what we get done. And for those of you scoring at home, yeah, my eye is actually doing a little bit better. It wasn't as goopy when I got up this morning. Still is a little more red, it looks a little more irritated, but again, I can still see, thank God. God, that was a scary situation. You know, when your vision all of a sudden goes askew for a couple of days and you think, oh my God, is this permanent? Thank God it wasn't. So, yeah, thanks that Next Care. I'm not impressed with you guys. So, I had to go to Menards. Now this is just the irritating thing. I brought in, this is the connection that came with my faucet. All right, this connects to the faucet, pipe, right where it is, the rigid part. And then it comes down to this little part. I thought, okay, great, I'll just go to Menards tonight and get a little piece that'll go into one of those, pressure fittings that you just put a hose clamp on to join the rest of the water system. Spent a freaking hour at Menards trying to find something that would fit into this end. Nothing fit. I tried all different sizes. My wife and I ran into this when we were doing our redoing the plumbing under the sink. We put in new faucets and stuff, and we couldn't find the right fitting. It's like nothing fit. Why make a hose for a faucet that isn't a standard size of anything else? That's annoying as whale crap, isn't it? So I had to end up buying 2 different sizes of tube, a thing that'll hopefully fit in, because I can't even use this now. That'll fit on the edge of the faucet itself, and then go down to one size of tube and then shrink down to another size. We've got a couple of fittings that shrink it down twice to match then the rest of the water line that I bought a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully to make this whole thing work. And I'm going to have to use most of this now since I have to go from one side of the truck to the other running that fresh water line. So, irritating. Alright, so using what I bought, I'm going to be able to make this work. Like I say, the hose that came with it, I can't use. Because this big end initially connected onto the pipe right here. But I have nothing that fits this end. So, found this little fitting that'll go onto the pipe. Boy, it barely threads on, but as long as I put some pipe tape on there and tighten it down, it'll work. So I had to buy a bigger piece of hose to go into this reducer, which now gets it down to the water line. I thought I had to go one step down from there, so I have this little reducer, but turns out I'm not going to need that, because this will work into the main water line. So, I think that's how we're going to have to do it. This will be inside where it's, warmer, so it shouldn't be as bad that this is just not the braided type hose. I think it'll work just fine. So, I think I'll go cut the new countertop and the hole for the sink, for the faucet, and we'll go get that cut and put into place and see if that's going to fit. What do you think? First, I recut the main board. I didn't do the sink cutout yet because I just wanted to make sure the board was going to fit in place. And it makes it around the chute. So this is the new board I'm using now, and now we'll go ahead and trace out the sink and get that ready to go. So I traced out the outer rim of the sink when it's upside down, and then I'm just going to measure that lip. I didn't measure it last time. I thought it was just about 1 inch, and so I'm going to measure that and go in exactly that amount for the cutout this time. Okay, so now I've got the hole cut out for the sink, and the board did not break in the process, which is nice because just got that narrow little section right there. But alright, we'll drop the sink in and see how it looks. Okay, sink looks great. I got it to exactly fit this time, so it doesn't even move in there. Okay, it moves a hair, but not much. So I think it looks real good. Now we just got to position the hole for the faucet. Okay, so we now have the new board cut out. Hi, I'm on TV. How are you? So it fits almost exactly to the sink. I used a little bit smaller bit, used a 13/16 this time for the hole for the faucet. Alright, so that's now the perfect size hole for that faucet in there, and it'll put it right at the edge of the sink. So there you go. So that's how that's going to look. Alright, so that's how the sink and faucet are going to look. Now this is minus the countertop foam stuff I'm going to put on there. So now that I know this is the right cutout shape and everything, I'm just going to go cut that foam to exactly the same shape as that board, and then we'll put all that together and I'll show you how that'll look. Okay, so I got that countertop stuff. It's just kind of a little foamy. It's actually made for floors is what it is, and it has little things you can join them together with. If you look at the back here, you might be able to see the cutout there where they can join together. It's flooring, but I thought, well, these would make great countertops because if you drop something on them, they're going to absorb it because it's foam. It has a nice gray look to match everything else. So I thought that looked great. So now that I have the sink in place and the faucet in place where it should be, nothing's fastened down yet, but I wanted to make sure this was all going to work first. And this stuff you see here is going to be on a countertop that's going to go across this area. Now the toilet lid will have to be down, and we'll meet up over here to hold this wall into place. So I'll have this huge countertop area all made of this stuff, so I can put my George Foreman up there, I can make sandwiches, what have you. So I'll have a nice big flat area countertop to work on things, which I only had a tiny little one before. So that was part of the goal of this whole truck renovation. The main thing was the toilet, obviously. I wanted the sink, bigger bed upstairs, and I wanted more of a flat countertops space to work on. So that's going to extend out from here, and it's going to fold up. So when you need to use the toilet, well, obviously you can get to it. So that's the whole plan with that. But it gives you a really good idea of how all that's going to look now. And I think it looks really good with the gray paint and all that. May put some trim around that, I'm not sure. A little molding or something. but I think it looks really good overall. What do you think? Well, I realize this video is starting to get really long, so I think that's where we'll stop it for tonight. But at least now you see the new countertop, along with now its foam top on it and everything, holding the sink in place and the faucet and all that, and how it's all going to look now. And so how that all kind of completes the whole look of the whole Clutch Trucker remodel. So hopefully you like how that looks. I know I like how it looks. I think it looks pretty cool. And once we get that countertop going all the way across over the toilet area, where it'll give us the whole countertop and it can fold and scissor up to get out of the way for the toilet, it's going to be pretty cool. Well, thanks for tuning in for that one. Yeah, that... boy, I hate it when it takes forever at a store like that. Anyway, and now we finally have our water tank situation figured out for the most part. So we're cruising on along, trying to get a little more progress done before the vacay, right? Right, Rusty? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry you don't get to go. But, you know, you can't really bring a dog to Disney World, you know what I'm saying? Like, alright, thanks for tuning in. As always, please subscribe, please like and comment. Get to your comments usually within 24 hours we're doing this project. There's Clutch Trucker on Instagram, Clutch Trucker on Twitter. I'll be putting some probably vacation stuff up on that one, on those two, coming up here in the next few days, so stand by for that. And as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and Rusty, out. Oh, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, but yet I find you strangely attractive. Of course you do. Druish princesses are often attracted to money and power, and I have both. All right, Rusty. He's eyeing that strip. Oop, there it goes. Go get it. Can you get up there? Go get it. There you go. You meatball dog. And people wonder why you are a meatball dog. Well, you've just proven it. Taking your time tonight, aren't you? Savoring every last bite. Alright, I think you got it all, buddy. I think that's it. You got it. Rusty.